at 5:30 every single day for 82 days, and the results are shocking. If you're new here, you 110% thought I was American.
Got him!
Acting skills, 10 out of 10. Bang, bang, bang.
I don't want the role. Go give it to Idris.
Okay, so the accent was fake, but the words were legit. For the last 82 days, I've woke up at 5:30 every single damn day. And the reason I wanted to drop this video today is I have tried to build this habit time and time again and failed time and time again. This video will break down how I formed this habit and how I know for certain I will never break it ever again. Firstly, I want to say that this is a keystone habit, and I'm in no way saying that you should be waking up at 5:30 every day, but hopefully you can take something away from the principles I discuss. I knew that for me to reach my goals, I had to do a few things. Number one was create discipline. Number two was create additional time in my day to complete the tasks I know I need to do to move the needle in my business. Number three was develop consistency. I've been learning from one of my mentors recently about changing your identity, and I've been continuously learning more and more about habits. By doing this, I discovered that the real reason I used to fail at waking up at 5:30 is I just simply didn't identify myself as someone that wakes up at that time. So I would tell myself time and time again, I'm gonna wake up at 5:30, but when that alarm went off, I would be smashing that snooze button.
Just like you should smash this Sorry. Must have opened the wrong door. Sorry.
Until the very last moment I could wake up and get out of bed. The first thing I had to do was ask myself truly deep down why I wanted to form this habit, and dig deeper and deeper and deeper into why I wanted to get out of bed at this time in the first place. Now, I definitely recommend going and checking out John's channel. He speaks a lot about mindset over there, so I'm going to leave his channel linked in the description. Go check out his channel, go subscribe. Cannot recommend his content enough. So I think one of the biggest factors it comes down to, like me waking up at 5:30, is the fact that I have wrote the sentence, I, Olley Thorpe, wake up at 5:30 every single day with no excuses, into my journal probably about 3,000 times at this point. There's a funny story I'd like to tell you guys about this, right? Because it still blows my mind, and there's other things that have happened to me in the past that relate to this. There was a time probably about 4 months ago now, so before I'd even now been consistent with this habit, I was writing this down, not daily, same again, it all comes down to consistency, right? But I've been writing this down in my journal inconsistently probably for like the last year, but it's only been the last 82 days that I've been sticking to it, right? But I want to touch on this story. Now, every single morning I'm journaling, I'm going over my vision and my affirmations and my goals, and one of them is, like I said, I, Olley Thorpe, wake up at 5:30 every single day. And there was one morning that my alarm clock went off. I got out of bed, turned my alarm off, got straight back into bed, and I literally started dreaming about me writing this sentence down in my journal. And as soon as I see it, I jumped out of bed like I had just had a nightmare. And ever since that happened, I've literally not missed a day of waking up at 5:30. Why I think this is important is, as John will say on his channel, is like it all comes down to your identity. And like I said before, I just didn't identify as someone that wakes up at 5:30 every single day. By repetition and writing down my goals and factoring in this affirmation of the fact I wake up at 5:30 every single day, over time it has changed that belief into a reality. That for me is just so important, because now I am the person that wakes up at 5:30 every single day. It's just a part of who I am now. And another thing I want to touch on is me and Sarah stayed at a hotel last week for my birthday. She got it for my birthday. We stayed at this lovely hotel. I'll roll some footage. You know, obviously I woke up that day on my birthday. That would be a day that, you know, it's totally acceptable for me not to wake up at 5:30. I had a clear diary. It was my birthday. Me and Sarah was away for my birthday. That would have been a day that if I didn't wake up at 5:30, the world wasn't going to end. Okay, the world's not going to end if I don't wake up at 5:30 anyway, right? But because now it's just a part of my identity that I wake up at 5:30, I found it difficult to not wake up at 5:30 on my birthday, because for me, that is now just a part of who I am. So look, this video isn't for me to preach for you to get up at 5:30. I just want to talk about my experience. This channel is is all about, you know, self-development and a way for me to speak to you guys about my experiences and hopefully shed some value onto you guys as well. Once I secured this habit of me waking up at 5:30, it was a domino effect, because all of a sudden I had this additional time to then work on building new habits and, you know, getting rid of old habits that no longer served me and replacing them with habits that are going to grow my business, going to grow this YouTube channel, going to grow my personal life as well. So now I get the same amount of work I used to get done in a week in a few hours in the morning because of that one habit I formed. I started to form other habits. I started to pair with the fact I woke up at 5:30. So, okay, I formed the habit of waking up at 5:30, but alongside that, I formed the habit of positive affirmations. I formed the habit of guided meditation, positive self-talk. So maybe for you, it's not waking up at 5:30, but there's probably one habit that you could change or replace, that if you replace that habit, there's going to be a massive, massive snowball effect on it. Obviously, like this is a lot about mindset and, you know, your identity, as he would say, but I also just want to talk about some of the external resources I use to build this habit. The number one is the app Olley. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, you would have heard me speak about this app on multiple times. I use the paid version now, but the free version definitely does the job. And the reason I use the paid version, for me to now turn this app off, I have to literally go onto the app and type in 3 positive affirmations. And you guessed it, one of them is I, Olley Thorpe, wake up at 5:30 every single day. I can't get out of bed, type that affirmation into my phone and then get back into bed. It's just impossible, right? It also comes down to like your self-talk and what you tell yourself on a regular basis. If you tell yourself you're going to wake up at 5:30 and then you wake up at 9, you're then destroying your trust with yourself, right? And we've all been there, and trust me, I'm still there some days as well. I'll tell myself that I'm going to do something and I don't, and it hurts me inside, right? So one thing is just to try and make it easy, right? So maybe it's waking up at 7 a.m. consistently, and then once you've done that for a month, then you go to 6:30, do that for a month, then go to 6. And like I said, I'm not saying you need to wake up at 5:30, but I'm just saying make it so easy that it's hard not to, and then make it a little bit harder, as in, you know, don't feel like you need to go 0 to 100 with these habits. Same with me doing a YouTube video, right? So I said to myself, look, I'm going to make one YouTube video consistently for the next year. Fact. That's why you're seeing this video right now. But that for me, it's not easy, but it's definitely manageable. So in 6 months time, I might say, look, I've formed that habit. Now I'm going to release 2 videos per week consistently. And obviously I do quite a few things outside of this YouTube channel. So, you know, you've also got to prioritize other things. The main thing I'm saying with this is make it easy, right? Make it easy for yourself so that you start to trust yourself, because if you don't trust yourself, no one else is going to trust you, for one thing, right? I think that's really important, of talking to yourself and loving yourself, really, right? So now I love the fact I wake up at 5:30. I'm proud of the fact I wake up at 5:30 regardless of all of these external factors. And number 2 is rewarding yourself, right? So I personally reward myself with a coffee. I've got one of those Tassimo coffee machines. I love coffee. So for me, rewarding myself when I wake up at 5:30, I go out into the kitchen, make myself a coffee. I love coffee, big reward. Pairing a reward with my routine and my habit of waking up at 5:30, right? So number 3 is the Amazon Alexa light. So I've got one of those like Wi-Fi lights that I've paired it with my Amazon Alexa. So at 5:30 every single morning, the light will turn on, and obviously that plays a big impact into helping me wake up, because you go from being in a dark room to a bright room, and it's going to help me get up. Sarah is not too fond of it. She's not quite on the 5:30 wake ups yet, but I do turn it off pretty quickly so she can't get too angry. The Amazon Alexa light definitely plays a big role. I had some problems with my Wi-Fi recently, so it wasn't working, and because I'd already built that habit, now if the light doesn't go off, it doesn't matter, because my alarm goes off, and now my body and my mind just wakes me up at that time anyway. But these things definitely do have a big impact in helping you build those routines. Number 4 is getting my body moving. This is so important, because because when you're in bed, you're relaxed, you know, it's easy to just want to stay in your bed, your nice cozy warm bed. To change your frame of mind, if you like, one of the best ways I've found to do this is to, like I said, make it so easy that it's hard not to. As soon as I turn my alarm clock off, I stand there. It's quite funny now I think about it, but as soon as I turn my alarm clock off, I'll literally start doing jumping jacks. I'll do 10 jumping jacks. That's it. And I've got my body moving. And now all of a sudden I've gone from sleepy, wanting to stay in bed, to energized and ready to attack the day. Yeah, I think number 4 is pretty important. Just getting your body moving. That might be doing press ups. It might be doing high knees. It might be doing mountain climbers. But for me, jumping jacks, it's a very easy way. I literally do it standing right there as soon as I turn my alarm clock off. And for me, obviously, if I've hit chest, I might not want to do 10 press ups every morning. So 10 jumping jacks for me, really, really good. Number 5, this was probably the most important part of me waking up at 5:30, and that was creating a detailed plan of what my morning routine looks like, right? So like I said, like the reason why am I waking up at 5:30, right? Because it's easy to, if you don't know what you're going to be doing when you wake up, it's very easy to just not want to do it, or just to not follow through with it because you're unclear on what the benefits are, right? So I created a breakdown, literally, same again, going back to the positive affirmations of like, I, Olley Thorpe, wake up at 5:30. I then literally progressed that. So it's like, okay, but what does Olley do after that? And for me, it was like, I type in my positive affirmations on my phone and my alarm clock goes off. I then do 10 jumping jacks. I then go to the kitchen and make myself a coffee. I then, and so on and so forth. And now it's like, I've got literally a step-by-step process of what I do after I wake up at 5:30. And having that clarity makes it so much easier than just being like, okay, I wake up at 5:30 because of what, Olley? Like, so having that in place is going to make everything just flow so much easier, because now you know what you're getting up for, and you're going to wake up in a completely different attitude, right? This is something that I've also wrote down in my journal, like time and time again. And obviously it's something that changes over time as my business has changed, my priorities have changed, my personal life has changed, my environment has changed. I think the key is the clarity and knowing exactly what I'm going to be doing when I wake up. It just makes everything go so much smoother, right? And James Clear, the author of the book Atomic Habits, tweeted this not so long ago. So take a look at this and just take this in. I'm just going to read it for you guys. Strangely, life gets harder when you try to make it easy. Exercising might be hard, but never moving makes life harder. Uncomfortable conversations are hard, but avoiding every conflict is harder. Mastering your craft is hard, but having no skills is harder. Everything has a cost. Boom. James Clear, obviously Atomic Habits, really, really great book about habits. Definitely recommend going and reading it. I'm definitely going to be going back over that book. I've read it twice already, and I've listened to the audio book. I was having a conversation with Sarah the other day, and she said about the book that she's actually reading at the moment, and she never used to read, and obviously us being together and developing and growing as a couple and growing individually as people as well. Like, I remember when we was traveling, I was reading books, and this is also shows the mindset that I was in back then, because obviously I've completely changed since then as well. I think I bring like 5 books with me. Don't think this is bad whatsoever, because it's made me the person I am today, but I would literally read a book there, close it, boom, move on to the next one. Well done, Olley. Finish that book. You've read that book. But I wasn't taking the action steps in which those books were telling me to do. I was just seeing it like, yeah, well done, Olley, you finished that book, move on to the next one. Now it's so much like having that focus to literally not rush through that book just because on my to-do list I read for 20 minutes a day, or I read 20 pages a day. Now it's like having that dedication, that focus to really study the material you're consuming as well, right? So there's a lot of people that are probably watching 10 different people on YouTube for making money online, or to, you know, better self-development or whatever. But it's like, if you just focused on one person and just consumed everything they were saying, and actually like took notes, watched it back, took notes, watched it back, took notes, and dug deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, then you're going to get so much more than if you was to just watch this person's video, then watch this person's video, then watch this person's video, then watch this person's video. And same again with books. It's very easy for you to just be like, okay, I'm going to read this book on this, I'm going to read this book on this, I'm going to read this book on this, and just be going from like one topic to another and not actually dive digesting and mastering what you're learning. So for me personally, is like looking back at that is like, okay, yeah, cool, well done that you read all of those books, Olley. I think I read 6 or 7 books in that time frame. I would have rather, looking back at it, I would have rather just taken one book and just like studied that down to a T. And there's a few books now that I've read in the past, and trust me, I definitely took action from the books. However, I now feel like, okay, wow, like I took action from those books. Let me go back and dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and see, because when you reread something as well, you're gonna notice stuff. Completely irrelevant, right? But there's artists that I like, especially from back in the day, Krept and Conan. They're one of those that they've got punchlines in like a lot of their songs, right? There's some songs from them, like especially back in the day, you can listen to now and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that punchline. And it's the same with like Friends, the TV program, right? I used to watch that when I was a kid, and I've probably watched each of those episodes like 10, 20 times, and it's like there'll probably be jokes in there that when I watched them originally I didn't know. And I've like literally, I done it the other day. I watched no, not the other day, but I watched an episode like a few months ago, and there was a joke in there, and it referred to someone that obviously when I initially watched that program, I didn't know who they was, so I didn't understand the joke. I didn't get the joke, but now I know who the person is they was referring to. I get the joke. It was funny. So went off on a bit of a tangent then from my notes, but I think that was pretty relevant, because what I'm saying is like really like focus on one thing at a time. Don't feel like, because all of us are rushing, right? All of us are rushing to do this so quickly, make this money so quickly, but we're here for the long term, people. We are here for the long term. So focus on a couple of core things, hone down on it, master that one thing. Reading these sort of quotes from James Clear and developing habits, right? I started to really link pain to not waking up at 5:30, right? So I started asking myself the question, how much money am I leaving on the table by not waking up at 5:30? How am I ever going to make the videos I know I can make if I stay in bed until 10 a.m? How am I ever going to get in the best shape of my life if I don't work out before my daily tasks get in the way? And to sum up, I think the main thing is I just got obsessed with the process. I detached from the outcome of what I was going to achieve by waking up at 5:30, and I just solely just focused on waking up at 5:30. Another example, I bought this Oura ring back in January, and I was so determined at the time to like master my sleep. I got this Oura ring, but I was inconsistent with it. Excuse me. I was inconsistent with wearing it. Whereas now I'm just obsessed with waking up at 5:30, tracking my sleep, making sure that, you know, I'm getting an adequate amount of sleep in. Same again, it comes down to just that pure focus and clarity on one thing. My evening routine at the minute sucks. Like, doesn't suck, don't get me wrong, but I was so focused on building my morning routine. I'll get to my evening routine, do you know what I mean? So, and I'll get to all of these other things. But right now, my morning routine is on such a great point. I get more done in a couple of hours in the morning now than I used to in a week, because of that one habit I formed. Become obsessed with like one thing, and then once you've mastered that one thing, then go on to the next thing. Don't feel like you need to do this and this all at once, because it goes back to like the jack of all trades is the master of none. Master one thing, whether it's waking up at 5:30 every day, whether it's going to the gym every day, whether it's not eating rubbish every single day. You know, master that one thing, and then once you've done that, then move on to the next thing. Don't rush, guys. Like, we're here for the long term. We're not trying to, this ain't no get rich quick scheme, no matter what business you're running. And if you are in a get rich quick scheme, you're not going to get rich. With the Oura ring, it's like my brain doesn't let me get into bed without putting this Oura ring on, because it's a part of who I am now. And it sounds stupid, it's literally a ring that tracks your sleep, but because in my mind and my identity, this new version of myself, the new version of me puts this ring on every single night, because he prioritizes his sleep, because he knows by waking up at 5:30 the next day, he is going to achieve his goal. So went off on a bit of a tangent still, but thank you so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. If you are new here, I make weekly videos on a channel about entrepreneurship, self-development and personal finance. So if that sounds like a bit of you, press that red subscribe button. We're lonely out here. Press the red subscribe button. I've got to take a call. Press the like button for another thing, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace. Oliver Thomas Robert Bernard Thorpe speaking.